The ranking member of the full committee, it's a privilege to recognize you.
Thanks for not complaining, Mr. Chair. Mr. Secretary, nearly 60% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's illegal war of choice with Iran. The war has led to skyrocketing fuel costs for Americans, needless deaths of American service members, while failing to achieve any of the stated aims of the war. In the meantime, it seems that the Trump administration seems to have forgotten all about the crisis in Gaza. Nearly 8 months after it was signed, the administration's 20-point peace plan stands largely unfulfilled. I have it right here. It looks like there are 4 and 5 have been accomplished, and the rest have not been accomplished here. Most Palestinians in Gaza are sheltering in overcrowded tents, pests and rodents spreading disease. Health services remain limited. Israeli military strikes have escalated despite the ceasefire, pushing the total death toll to nearly 73,000. Late last week, Prime Minister Netanyahu ordered the IDF to seize 70% of Gaza in complete violation of the ceasefire agreement. So, Secretary, the State Department must take the lead for the U.S. implementing the President's 20-point plan. What is the status of implementation? What progress should we expect to see in the next few weeks? What is your response to Prime Minister Netanyahu's directive?
You're talking on Gaza?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, well, because you started out talking about Iran. So let me just, first let me just say I disagree
I
with
said in the meantime, the Trump administration seems to have forgotten about the crisis in Gaza.
No, no one's forgotten about it. I think luckily there's not active combat operations happening of the kind that we saw a few months ago, but it's still a challenge that we're going to work through. I just wanted to correct the record for a second. You said we had not achieved our stated aim, and I know you went through it in your opening statement.
No, if you don't mind, I have a limited time for questioning, Mr. Secretary.
No, but you gave
My
a long
question,
introduction, and then now you're going to answer some of these things?
No,
They just
well,
get
I
to
want to
sit
get
there?
to Gaza. I want to get to the 20-point plan, which is what my question is about implementing
gave
the
a speech
20-point
first.
plan. What is the status of implementation? What progress do we see in the next few weeks? What is your response to Prime Minister Netanyahu's directive?
Let me first start with the status. We are now at a phase where we should be having or want to have an international stabilization force that goes in and provides the security. This requires the demilitarization of Hamas, which right now they have not been willing to meet the conditions necessary. By the way, it's not just the United States that's complaining about it. Many of our partners in the region are pressuring Hamas to enter the demilitarization phase.
So there will be no progress with the 20-point plan unless there is a demilitarized Hamas.
Well, there
Is
are
that
other
correct?
elements of the 20-point plan that are ongoing. As an example, the plan for reconstruction and economic development and the donors that are coming forward to fund it, that continues to move forward and develop. It's just you can't implement it. No one's going to invest money in Hamas, in Gaza, until Hamas is demilitarized, because they know there's going to be another war.
These
They're
20 points were to be moving, I would think, and moving along with various phases of implementation as we go along here. In terms of also humanitarian aid, it is all laid out, but as I said, there are only 2 that have been apparently implemented.
No.
That is with 72 hours of the hostages will be released. So Netanyahu's directive, IDF seize 70% of Gaza. Just your view, because I need to move on.
Yeah, our view of it is, I think those comments he made last week in an appearance that he did somewhere, we have a plan, it doesn't call for that. And at the end of the day, we understand that what we want, and I think what the Israelis would ultimately want, is a Gaza that is governed by a non-Hamas.
So you have no opinion
people-
on the IDF seizing 70%
Well,
of
he made that
Gaza.
statement, but that's
Well,
not
but
part of this plan. This plan doesn't call for that. What this plan calls for, and it's what we're committed to carrying out, is that
But
the
there
people
has
of
been
Gaza
no
are governed by-
implementation of the plan.
Well, that the people of Gaza are governed
let
by
me
a
just-
technocratic Palestinian government, a Palestinian...
Please, Mr. Secretary.
No,
we
but
go
you're
round
asking
and
me
round.
questions. You're not letting me answer.
Yes, you are answering them. No, you're not answering them because you don't have answers.
But you don't let me finish.
Let me just say this. And first of all, you talked earlier in your comments about humanitarian assistance and how quickly it's going out. Quite frankly, that hasn't really happened in Gaza. commercial, not just commercial, humanitarian aid going in. Let me just talk about
That's
the
false.
humanitarian assistance.
That's a false statement. I have to
It is
correct
not
you
a
on
false
that. It's not.
statement.
We spent hundreds of millions of dollars in humanitarian aid in Gaza already. And that includes through the World Food Program and other organizations.
You know, I've talked to Cindy McCain at World Food about the situation, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
So have I.
And the food and
Talked to her all the
hunger,
time.
and
In
it's
fact, I met
not
with her a
there.
month ago, and she
It's
would
not
disagree
there.
with you.
Let me just continue on. Humanitarian situation in Gaza worsens. At the same time, the Israeli government has ramped up its pursuit of a de facto annexation of the West Bank. Oslo Accords have been torn up. Demolition orders for Palestinian villages are on the rise. Incidents of settler violence have surged with no accountability, and the construction of settlements and outposts continues at a rapid speed. From May 12th to May 18th, Palestinians faced more than 50 attacks by settlers across the West Bank, including arson attacks that damaged a mosque, homes, farmland, and vehicles. The UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has documented an average of 6 such attacks per day. The Israeli government has begun proceedings to demolish the Palestinian community of Khan al-Ahmar, just east of Jerusalem, as part of its goal of constructing settlements along the E1 corridor, which would bisect the West Bank, foreclose the possibility of a continuous Palestinian state. Mr. Secretary, do you believe that the situation in the West Bank is one that leads to greater cooperation between Israelis and Palestinians, or will create conditions for a two-state solution and promote Israel's two-state solution, in my view, will promote Israel's long-term?
As the president has stated clearly and repeatedly, he is not in favor of these changes or these changes in the status in the West Bank, that it potentially complicates our ability to work out the deal in Gaza as
thank
well.
you.
And the president's been consistent. He has said this multiple times, and we've shared that with our Israeli counterparts as well.
And what are we doing to deal with settler violence?
We will
the
do
West
that on
Bank.
if that's all right, we'll do that on the second round
Fine.
because we're way over.
Thank you very much,
No,
Mr.
thank you.
Chairman.
Thank the ranking
Thank you.
member.